Hola amigos, mi nombre es Michael.
Bienvenidos a MJ Radio,
el único podcast en español sobre la vida y obra del rey del pop. Noticias, análisis, historias, discusión, entrevistas y mucho más.
MJ Radio, el podcast que le da voz en español a el rey del pop. Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Bienvenidos a MJ Radio, MJ Radio, esto que es un episodio especial, el 88.5, con esta entrevista que les traemos a ustedes, muy encantados, con las chicas del Black Jackson State. Ya teníamos ganas de hablar con ellas, estábamos en comunicación en Twitter, si ustedes se han fijado, siempre hemos estado hablando con ellas y todo el rollo, así es que por fin se dio esta colaboración, nos encantó, nos pusimos a hacer un relajo. Es una plática entre fans, entre amigos, así es que nos la pasamos muy bien. Puros fans de Michael Jackson, hablando de Michael Jackson, y así es que nos divertimos mucho. Les quiero aclarar que la entrevista es completamente en inglés, así que si quieren ver la traducción, por favor, vayan aquí a YouTube, busquen el caption y pónganla en español para que les salga toda la traducción escrita, redactada ya en español y puedan ustedes ahí disfrutar con nosotros de esta bonita plática. Muchas gracias a toda la gente que se ha suscrito al canal y sobre todo a los Patreons, a ustedes. Aquí les dejamos el video, que lo disfruten primero y ya después lo ponemos en general. Muchas gracias por todo su apoyo. Bueno, sin más preámbulos, aquí Ale, Sandra y yo los dejamos con esta bonita plática con las chicas del Black Jackson State. Director, corre video.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Hola, 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 el MJ Radio. I am Latoya, user 1.5 from the Black Jackson Estate, and this is a Black Jackson Estate and MJ Radio collaboration, episode 89, user 1. Are you there?
How did we get in here? Did we teleport? We're still in America.
I know.
Hey.
we landed.
We landed on MJRADIO.
Hey.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us in your... Is it yours? Ours? I don't know. I'm confused.
It's us, nosotros.
Tú, yo, ellos, nosotros, aquellos.
Sí, claro.
What is this thing? Nothing. It's just crossover a little bit. We are with our invite. How do you say? In hosts, guests. Our guests. Co-hosts,
yeah.
guests, compadres, comadres. From they're here with us today, and we wanted to do this for a long time, and it had to happen. It usually happens with this community that somehow we get involved and get together, and well, here we are. Are you guys ready for this? As usual, we have Sandra from in Peru and Ale somewhere in Mexico, as usual. So,
Hello.
Ladies, how are you?
I'm very happy today.
Very happy to have our friends over here. So we are really excited for this episode.
Tu micro no se oye muy bien,
For a
Ale.
long time.
Ale, the microphone is just bad.
¿No? ¿Así ya?
That's better, thanks.
¿Ya? Ok, entonces lo acerco.
Yes, thanks.
Okay,
Who
so
was-
we're really excited to have you here, guys. So I'm really, really happy to finally be able to talk to you.
Thank you so much. We're happy to be
Thank
here.
you. We are so happy to be here. We usually say that we are the EST of Michael Jackson podcast, the biggest, the realest, illest, the baddest, the blackest. But listen, we are a super group now. We gotta find a name.
It's a Wakanda slash
Right. This is like the Avengers.
what's the underwater kingdom? What's the underwater kingdom?
The Mayan.
Atlantis.
Yeah, they were Mayans. Yeah.
Oh,
it's a
that's
takeover.
right.
It's
That's
a takeover
right.
here. Yeah.
We should have invited an Australian here too. Everybody.
That's right.
Might as well get everybody involved.
The
Let's find
United
Q. We'll find Q, and he'll jump on real quick.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Thank you, guys, because you're always supporting us.
Absolutely. Likewise. Thank you so much. You guys already existed when we kind of came on the scene. So we always had certain people we were watching. And you guys certainly were one because you were the only one, and you still are the only ones doing this entire thing in Spanish and hitting a market that is so supportive of Michael and has been throughout his entire career. And so you provide a perspective that we could appreciate. And because we were trying to do the same thing, provide a unique perspective. So thank you for doing it. It's a lot of work. People don't always see how much work goes into it. And you guys keep doing it. And you're adding so much for new fans, for existing fans. So thank you, because we're certainly, and so many others are watching you, and really grateful that you exist and that you keep doing your content.
Oh,
Thank you very much for those words. You know what? It's the same backwards to you guys. When we saw you coming along and in the podcast sphere, we were like, okay, a new podcast. All right. And right away sharing about it and everything. But always in our minds was like, how long are they going to last? Because everybody leaves. Everybody leaves. And I was
Everybody
like,
leaves.
yeah. So it's kind of hard, but you guys, man, you've been here, and it's freaking awesome to and to hear your points of views. It's different as well. It's refreshing. It's great. It's just it's awesome. I think back then I used to tell the guys, you know, it's a great time for the fans, because they can listen to the podcast in Australia. They can listen to the podcast in Spanish. It's a great time now. And then you guys came along, and so right now it's even a better time for the listeners, because they can get everything. If you speak English and Spanish, you get a whole bunch of stuff. Great stuff.
Amen. Amen. Yeah.
We're doing it.
How long?
Amen.
I'm gonna get some more juice, okay?
Yeah, get some
Get
juice.
some juice. Yeah, let me grab my juice. I'm gonna drink with Jason.
Yeah, well, a lot of what you just said is similar to what happened to us. Like, we were like, nobody's doing anything for the Spanish-speaking community, and we also have a point of view, because we don't think the same way, or some things we do, but there has to be a difference somewhere. And we were actually very also surprised that a lot of the episodes that we did in the beginning were pretty much the same as what the Australians guys were saying. It was very similar in Spanish and English. We sometimes purposely did not listen to their episodes, so we didn't want to have the same opinions or be, influenced by them. And then at the end, we listened to both, and we're like, oh, that was it. That was pretty much the same. But of course, you have the difference of how we say things, of how we do things, how we think about the Latin flavor stuff like that we have is kind of different, and they're like, that's where it's nice to have the difference. So I always told people, and I keep telling them, you can listen to the English version and then come and listen to this one, because we are gonna say some different things. It's like watching a movie, like the director's cut or stuff like that, where you see a little difference if you buy the next Blu-ray or the next release, stuff like that. Yeah, so it's nice. I do that. I have a lot of Blu-rays and movies because I buy the next version. I want to see the differences. And this is like that. And now with you guys, it's pretty much the same as well. I mean, we just say stuff and I'm like, oh, that was good. I could have said that. So it's always like maybe a data, like a piece of data that is missing, but everything else is the same. So that's nice to catch, like, oh, I didn't say that. Oh, I missed that one, But they said it, so okay, it's complete now,
It's covered, right?
It's covered. They said it, we didn't. It's all right.
And we say a lot of things. Listen, okay.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
We say whatever sometimes. And you guys know, like when you're recording and you're just talking because, of whatever the content is, a lot of times you say things that in the moment, it's like what you felt, but then you go back and listen to it, you're like, dang, I hope that doesn't come across in a bad way.
Yeah, that happens. But that's what editing is for. That's why we don't do too many lives.
Oh, things have been taken out.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Believe me. So, yeah.
Let me ask you guys that same question. What inspired you to get started? What's your origin story? How did you guys get connected? Like, tell us.
It is fun. It is fun. It was pretty much me. I've been a lonely Michael Jackson fan my whole life. I've been in the closet. Nobody knows about it. So it's just me. I like it. That's something I found and I was interested in because of the moonwalk and the dancing and the girls and all this and that and the other. And then just like that, I like technology. I'm always online and checking things out. And I was like, the podcasts were coming up really, really famous back in 2000 something. And I was like, I wonder if there's a Michael Jackson podcast. And then I just Googled and I found some people in Las Vegas, but then their podcast was like 2 years old or a year old. I was like, okay, they're not doing it. And then I found the MJ cast. So, and I was like, okay. And the dates were recent, and then even more recent, like very, very, like 2 weeks apart. And like, okay, these are this is it. They're doing it for sure. And my idea was like, okay, of course, like I just said, like I told you, there's nothing in Spanish for nothing. And there's a lot of things that are not translated. There's a lot of things. And they were doing news and stuff. They're like, all these news, I don't even know about them because I'm not in the forums. I don't have friends. I don't have nothing. So I would like to know all this information that they're saying in English. I would like to know them in Spanish. So I'm like, let me. And I was like, I'm just going to copy their news and I'm just going to say them in Spanish. And I'm just going to record it and say it. Just like a news program. Like, hola, yo soy Jason. Este es el podcast de Michael. Y estas son las noticias. These are the news. Right? But I felt like, if they find out that I'm stealing their content, it's not going to be nice. And I don't want to be that guy either. So I'm just going to email them and ask them permission. So that's what I did. I emailed, hey, I'm this guy and I'm doing this and I want to do it. Can I do it? And they said, we'll get back to you. And
Okay.
and like, okay, well, I got an answer, but I don't know what this. I was mad. Like, that should be a yes or a no. Simple, yes or no. That's it. I'm doing everything. You just have to say yes or no. And but 2 weeks later, they came back and were like, okay, we have an idea. We like your idea, but we want you to do it with other people because it's a lot of work. And if you don't have anybody, we find you people, and then you can join us and be part of our show, but in Spanish. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a lot of work. And then, I don't want to do that. That sounds like a lot of responsibility. And I was getting married. Was I getting married at that time? Something like that. So my life was about to change in my own personal way. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to have all this time, if babies are coming later and all this. But I already sent the email and I was like, I can't back down now. And they introduced me to these ladies because I didn't know them. And I know Ali in person now because I traveled, but I have not met Sandra in person yet. And that's it. We started as MJCast in Spanish, the Spanish version of it. We did a whole season of it, and then we wanted to do our own thing, and we moved over to the MJ Radio. And here we are. We still
I did not know this story.
7 years later.
I love it.
Yes.
We were picked up.
Yeah.
We were picked up from the archives, the Michael Jackson archives, that group from Facebook.
Ale, tu micro.
Mute. Yeah. We were always in the group from Facebook, Michael Jackson Archives, where the guys from the MJ cast were all the time. So they were like reading what we had to say. They liked it, so they picked us. They didn't have to cast or anything. They were picked. So that was pretty good. I just got an email. I just got an email. You want to be in the MJ cast? And I was like, why?
What? Why?
Why me? What?
What did I do?
What did I do?
So cool. That is a great story. I did not know any of that. So that's awesome. So you guys started as the Spanish version of the MJ cast, and then you decided to kind of create your own thing, and it's been going ever since.
That's correct. So 6 years now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
We've been going on.
Yeah, it was great, awesome. But we had a different way of thinking, and our times were different. The approach to things is different.
Yeah,
for sure.
So we said maybe we should be,
separate.
In our own vision of things.
Right. I love it. I
love that story. Yeah, and it like you said, things are different culturally, and I feel like like we've definitely had this conversation with people. Like, cultural differences make all the difference when you're talking about something, because if you don't understand the culture, then some of the things that are said may be offensive when they weren't meant to be offensive, and so I just think that that's really awesome. Yeah, the MJ cast has been the big kahuna for a long time. And I have so much respect for them and the work that they've done on behalf of Michael Jackson and his family. But like I said, I love you guys. I stumbled on you guys from from Twitter by accident. I was like, I know enough Spanish to make this work. So I just started listening. You guys actually helped me with my Spanish because the different accents with the Spanish words are really helpful for me. But I just love listening. I mean, you guys had one on Bruce Switting. You called him the invisible thread or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Like, it was just a really good episode. So you guys are awesome. And thank you for doing what you're doing, because like my sister said, this is hard. It's fun, but the fun part is recording.
Yes. Yeah, the fun part is recording.
Then it's work. Hey, user 1.5, we're like Michael Jackson BET. They're like Michael Jackson Univision. And then the MJ cast is like Michael Jackson CBS Evening News. Like
NBC, CNN. Yeah.
I felt like that was a good analogy. I don't know.
It's great.
Don't add me.
It is what it is.
They start adding me. They better not add me. Don't add me, anybody.
Oh gosh, we love you guys.
So it was hard because of course I don't know these ladies, and they're like, and I'm like, okay, wow, now I'm gonna record with two people I have no clue, and I'm embarking to this mission, and episode 1 is gonna be like, what's the chemistry here? What if I don't like these people? I don't. It was horrible. It was really bad. Yeah. That first episode.
Sandra and I were already friends.
Yeah,
we didn't know anything.
That's the good thing.
Jason.
That's a good thing that they knew each other.
He was the mystery boy. He was a mystery boy.
He was the mystery, yes.
Yeah.
He was kept in the closet.
Yeah. So lucky for them. Lucky for them.
Until we had that crazy meeting with the MJ cast at, I don't know, like 3 a.m. because of the different time zones. We finally met Jason.
We had a meeting,
but it was super top secret. Yeah. And the funny thing is that Jason is from Mexico, and he's from North Mexico, same as me. So we have a lot in common. So that's why we immediately bonded, because it was so natural, because we are kind of from the same region in Mexico. So it was really, really natural.
Yeah, and Sandra studied communications and all this stuff that I love. So it was easy.
Sandra is almost Mexican.
And she's almost Mexican.
Almost Mexican, yeah.
She's an honorary Mexican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it. I love it. Well, let me ask you guys another question, because I guess we're interviewing each other.
Yes.
Which I love.
Definitely.
I love.
Oh, yes.
So so you guys are 6 seasons in, or I'm sorry, 7 seasons in, right? If you include the season with the MJ cast. What, for each of you, is your favorite episode? Like, there's always one that you're like, I really like this one, or I like the concept. So what's your favorite episode that you've done so far?
I have 2.
Okay.
The first one is the one about Peter Pan.
Yeah.
So that is one of the most incredible episodes we have. And the other one is the one about Off the Wall, because we have a really, really amazing guest on that episode. So it was really super cool. So I have one episode that is 100% musical, and the other one is 100% like hard. I don't know how to say it. So
yeah,
Peter Pan and Off the Wall. So those are my 2 favorite, the ones that I like the most.
Mm-hmm. Same for me, probably.
Alex, can you? I'm sorry, Sandra. Alex, can you give us kind of like a quick overview of the Peter Pan episode, because I haven't heard that one.
Okay, so you have to go there.
It's 3 hours long.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I ended up crying in that episode because it was so bad.
Yeah.
It was so bad. I was crying. And I don't cry. I'm a macho Mexican. I don't cry. But in this episode, I was like, OMG. Really? And that was a lady that Ali found online, that she has a what do you call those, fairies? She talks about fairies. She even writes books about fairies.
He's a writer.
He's a writer. Yeah.
Fantasy.
And Ali was like, I think she would be great, because I know she knows about Peter Pan. I mean, she obviously knows about him. So let's contact her. And we did. And she said yes. And then she's like, I don't know nothing about Michael though. I was like, doesn't matter. We'll see what happens. And it came out so perfect. We don't know nothing about Peter Pan anyway, so let's see what happened. Why did Michael like Peter Pan? What happened? Why? Yeah. You tell us what is with Michael. What is with Peter Pan that Michael could have? Let's see if we find the connection. And that lady was throwing everything she was saying. I was like, wow. So that's the reason. That makes sense.
It was mind blowing.
It was yeah. It was crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was exploding.
I gotta listen
very
to that
deep.
It was she went deep, yeah.
She went very deep
because she knows a lot about the guy.
Deep.
Yeah.
Very deep.
Wow.
And very heartfelt and very interesting, because when you like something that much as we do with Michael, it's because you have something inside of you that is calling you to that. So it's another way to know the man, to know Michael through Peter Pan. So that was the name of the episode, Michael Jackson through Peter Pan. And that lady that we have as a guest, she's from Spain. It was really like a connection also. So we didn't talk to her before. So we just connected through Zoom, or I don't remember what was the platform.
Like the lady said, oh yeah, and then the writer of the book, he would used to go with another families because he wanted to be with people instead of his own. And I was like, dude, that's just that. Yeah. Did you know that Michael did that? And she's like, no, I didn't know Michael did that. Like, yeah. So we figured out in the end that Michael probably even read more than Peter Pan. He probably read the guy's biography, and he knew everything about the guy as well. Because there were so many similitudes with the writer, not only with the story with Peter Pan, but the actual writer.
With the writer, yeah.
Yeah, so I would like to know if he had anything in his library about that writer. Because he probably did. He probably did.
Yeah.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that episode is really special and different, because we didn't have an expert on Michael or a fan. She didn't know anything about that. But that connection on that specific subject, it was really, really mind-blowing. So that's why that's one of my favorite episodes ever. And the other one that is off the wall is 100% music, because we had a guest, which is he's a musician. He also has a podcast about music and comics and pop culture. And he just like explained to us the music and the instruments and the melodies and that stuff in a way that it was just like a dream come true for me to know that those sounds that you have been listening all the time that you didn't know that were there, So that episode was also magical for me.
And also he was not a Michael fan either.
He's not a Michael fan.
So he was comparing things.
He's a fan of music.
Yeah.
Now
he's a fan of Michael because of this episode, but back then he was like, I'm just going to do what I do and see what I can find with the music that I know. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he hated.
Wow,
he hit it
awesome.
right on the nail on many things about the influence of music that he thought he actually did come from there, and
the historical moments and everything.
He did all of that.
He released an episode on Thriller, so that's why we contacted him. And on that episode, he was telling the audience that his favorite album was Off the Wall. So we immediately we want you on the show. So it was really, really fun to have Sergio, and we want him back soon because it was really, really special. We learned a lot with him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he knows a lot.
Yeah, there was another episode I cried on, but I don't remember which one. Which one was it? I can't remember.
You have cried in so many episodes.
No, only two. Only on two.
No, like 4.
4?
Sandra said 4.
Jesus.
She said no, like 4.
Well, I don't cry. Hey, I don't actually cry. Okay, I get teared and my voice.
It's very sensitive.
Yeah, my voice kind of changes a little bit. That's it. But I don't actually cry, so don't think I'm. No.
Not like Michael. She's out of my life.
Oh my God!
I hope not.
Not like that. No.
Oh my.
Sandra, what about you? What's your favorite episode so far from you guys?
Who?
Sandra.
Sandra.
Oh, mine are the same ones.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
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 Those sound
Same.
awesome.
And Jason, for you?
I think Off the Wall is pretty good. I'm very technical, so all the way he did it and the way he's playing the sounds and all that stuff, that was pretty nice. And I really liked the one we just made, because I told these ladies we just did an episode that I don't know, man. I don't know if people are gonna like it. It's crazy. And obviously the one I like the most is the one I haven't made, so I'm waiting for that one. I think Invincible. I'm waiting for Invincible. I really want that.
Oh,
Está en el podcast.
Invincible is always an interesting discussion because fans either come down really hard on the album and they really don't like it, or they love it. There's no middle ground in Invincible. You either love this album or hate it. It's like the Biden and Trump presidency. You either love that thing or you hate it, you know, and that's Michael's Invincible. People either really like it or they go, we did not need this effort at all. So I'm excited to kind of hear your perspective on it. We've covered it a couple of times, and each time we do, it's pretty consistent. We might, you know, some days you like, some days you really like.
I have to fight for Invincible because these two, well, this one right here, she does not like that album, and it is one of my favorite Michael Jackson albums. So, you know, in Invincible, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about it.
That's the only album I was able to listen, like the release and everything. I was part of it.
Yeah, right.
Everything else, I was not a part of it. I was not in history.
Right.
Yeah, so it's special for us.
I don't hate it.
Oh,
I just think half of the album we could have really done without.
That means you don't like it. The whole album is great to me, except for the children's song. What was that one? The Lost Children?
Like the Lost Children.
The Lost Children.
No.
Yeah, he could have kept that one. I don't know where he got that one from or who okayed that to be put on the album. But
he did.
The rest,
he okayed
well,
it.
Of course he did.
It. Yeah,
he felt it in his soul. Yeah. He felt it. Yeah.
But Whatever Happens is one of those songs that we always talk about because
Santana.
That's
a 10 out of 10. Yeah.
With Carlos Santana. Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
Song.
Yeah.
And the album opens up strong. Like Unbreakable is a great song.
Yeah.
And it's Michael, like his reintroduction to the music scene after so long. And it's also him saying like, you're not gonna tear me down.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
You know, so I just love that song. That's if you guys have listened to the pod, y'all know that's when I used to work in retail, that was my going to work song. I would put it on right before I pulled up because I was like, listen, these people are not going to break me down today. Jesus, they are not going to break me down today.
Not today.
Not today.
Not today.
Yeah.
And guys, what are your favorite episodes from your podcast? Do you have one or two?
I think my favorite episode is Michael Jackson's Blackest Moments.
Okay.
Because it was just fun to do. We talked about all the crazy stuff that Michael has done. I mean, we went everywhere from what we call the Tupac tussle, which was him and Tupac getting into a fight over Quincy Jones's daughter at some industry event, all the way up to like Michael Jackson riding through the drive-thru at KFC eating chicken, you know. So that one was just fun to do because it was like not serious at all. We were just talking about Michael the man being himself. And that one was really fun. And I also enjoy all of our Black History Month episodes are always really special because we get the opportunity to talk about the Black entertainers that have influenced him in a very tangible way and in a way that you can see in his own music. So those are always special too. So I guess those are like, it's more than one Black History one, but those are my favorite ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed I'd say the first episode because on the first episode, Ashley says, "Hey, Nikki, are you ready?" And I said, "No," because I was not ready to do this thing. She started this podcast. She made us. She was like, "Okay, we just got to do this," and I was like, "We don't have time for this." And she was like, "No, we got to do this," and I was like, "Okay," and we did it, and we started, and it was very honest. You know, we've cleaned it up a lot. We use a lot less swear words now. Okay. But
we want Tito on the show. He won't come on if we cuss.
Tito does not like a lot of cussing. Okay. So we're like, okay, clean it up for Tito. Okay. So, but the first episode, there's a lot of cussing. And we really were just like, it's called Stop in the Name of Love because Diana Ross, we recorded it after Diana Ross kind of weighed in. They were just piling on Michael after, Leaving Neverland came out. She kind of said, hey, listen, he's gone. Let him rest, and he wasn't this guy, right? And then they came after her, right? And so we were that's why the episode actually named it Stop in the Name of Love, because Diana Ross had kind of weighed in on the whole thing. So I really enjoy the fact that we just decided to do it, especially at a time when no one wanted to be pro Michael, right? And you were just going to be attacked. And we had to figure that part out. And we went back and forth about, do we use our real names? Do we do this? Ashley was like, I don't want us to use our real names. I'm trying to figure out like these, these aliases, and we couldn't really decide. And finally we came up with this Ashley came up with this user thing. We were like, users, and they're like, whatever, let's just do it. So I really love that episode because that's truly how we felt in the moment, which was that this is not fair. There's racism laced throughout the way this is covered. There is just straight up prejudice based on a preconceived idea about this man that you've peddled in life, that's still not true. When, we were all there when he went to the Arvizo trial, and at the beginning, he's going to jail. And we watched in real time as that case fell apart in front of a jury. And then they got really quiet about things, right? And no one wanted to say anything. And then it was over. It was like crickets, right? Because there was no other conclusion other than these were false allegations, right? The evidence demonstrated that. So we've been fighting for Michael for so long, and we know it's not a popular opinion all the time to take. And we also try to, I guess, balance that fact with the reality that he didn't always make choices that were the best, right? His actions didn't always align with our norms and and I don't think he got it. And so we try to be honest in saying that, yeah, okay, I don't agree with him sharing a bed with a 13-year-old kid that's not, related to him, his kid. No, I don't agree with that. Do I think he's sinister? No, I think he doesn't understand why culturally this is not going to work, because he didn't grow up the way that, the average person grows up. So we try to be balanced and honest, even when we don't like some of the things he's done. And I look at our first episode, that's really that. And we've tried to maintain that throughout. And if people decide not to listen to us, that's fine, but we have to be honest, right? And honesty is sometimes, in your opinion, evolving, right? I feel this way today, and in 6 months, I feel totally different, right? So we give ourselves grace to grow as well on our podcast and to say, I was wrong. Well, you know what? I don't agree with what I said. Like, if you want to pull that up, that's cool, but I don't agree with what I said then, right? I'm glad that I'm in a different place, right? I've got a different perspective. So I love that first episode. I also love our episode with Steve Knopper, who came on to talk about his book, The Genius of Michael Jackson, because I really loved this book when it first came out. I used to work a job, my first job as an attorney. I had to drive to a lot of different courthouses across the state. We got 100 counties. I'll pretty much touch the road 3 or 4 times a week, going to different counties for court hearings. And so I would listen to a lot of audiobooks. Steve's book came up. I devoured it, and then I bought the physical book. And I said, guys, let's see if we can get him on the show. And they were like, okay, let's try. He's got a different opinion. Some fans really don't like his book. I was like, I don't care. Because some of the criticism is simply because he's not, kissing Michael's ass for 300 pages. And that's, I like that. Like, he's given us the facts. He's given us someone else's perspective that, you don't have to agree with, but that's their perspective. They came into contact with him. That's their view. And we reached out to a couple of other people, and it was like crickets, especially when you're trying to get certain people to maybe pick up the phone, like Stephanie Mills, who won't pick up the phone for us. It's hard, right? Getting these folks to say yes a lot of times. And so I reached out to Steve Knopper. I didn't expect anything. The same day he responded, he said, I would love to come on your show. And we got him on, and we just had a great time. And his book, I thought, was really great. So this is definitely a plug for Steve Knopper's book, The Genius of Michael Jackson. He'd interviewed over 400 people about Michael Jackson. He didn't pay one single person for an interview. And these were people of substance who had worked with Michael, who knew Michael, and he didn't pay anyone. So I thought that gave him a higher standing to talk about this topic, because no one was influenced by a payday, right? No one's opinion was influenced by the fact that Steve was maybe going to write him a check at the end of the day. So I really enjoyed having him on. He was a lot of fun. I've enjoyed all our guests, but those are 2 that kind of stand out in my mind.
Great. How many episodes you guys have now?
It feels like a million. We've got
because just stop numbering them. You don't number them no more. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it's tough. Yeah, because
we started doing seasons. We started doing seasons at one point. We're just, life be life, and I don't know how many.
Life, yeah.
I don't know how many we have.
There's a lot. It's hard to count because we've got the 12 days of Christmas thing. So like if you take that and you multiply it, and
the
then
12 days of Christmas is hell on earth. Let me tell y'all something. We do 12
and now we can't
mini
stop it because we started it, and we can't stop it now because people are like, you can do 12 days, and we're like, no, yeah, we're gonna do it.
Crazy. Leading up to Christmas, the 12 days before Christmas, our last one drops on Christmas Day. We record 12 mini episodes and release them back to back for 12 days.
How long?
And that is
are they?
They're usually, we try to keep it about 45 minutes to an hour, but sometimes it goes over. And because the person who thought
Jason's like,
wow.
And we're editing these.
We got to get you guys on a 12-day this year now. Like, listen, you got to come on and Feliz Navidad, everybody, because listen, 12 days are there. It's a lot of fun, and it does help us get into the holiday spirit. And we know that
it does too for us.
Listen to us are looking for it. Yeah,
we like to do December episodes.
The one about Peter Pan was for Christmas. Was for Christmas?
Yeah.
And it gives Michael wasn't a huge Christmas person. I mean, we've all seen the Christmas with Elizabeth Taylor and the Super Soakers, but I just think it's fun, and it gives the fans a lot of content at the end of the year when life sometimes can be more difficult. You know, the holidays sometimes for people are not always great. And so if we are able to, impart a little bit of joy just by talking about Michael, I'm here for it. Last year was better than the year before for the 12 days, but we did do an episode that was really fun. That was the best and worst of Michael Jackson merch from the 80s. And that was a lot of fun because they put Michael's face on everything. Everything. Good.
I thought it was fun hearing the feedback from the fans who were kids in the 80s going, oh my God, when I was a kid, my mom got me the record player, or my mom got me the viewfinder, or I thought that was really fun. Like, yeah, we had a lot of, I think that's, and you guys probably would agree, that's the funnest part of doing the show. It's the feedback from people who are listening and going, we had a couple of ladies who are blind email us and say, hey, thank you for this episode because it was so descriptive. It was an MJ style episode. They were like, it's so descriptive. We are blind, but we're huge fans. And it's things like that make you go, as hard as this is and as much work as it is, it's touching someone. Or, we've had people contact us from Hawaii or from Africa or from, all over the world and go, hey, I found your podcast and oh my goodness, I've been binging it. Like, I'm on the plane right now. We've had people email us, I'm on the plane right now. That's the best. I was on the plane. I listened to 4 episodes straight. I had a big flight, and I love it. So I think, you guys have so many stories I know are so similar. Yeah. It's the people connection, right? We're not just doing it. We're having fun doing it, but what it does for somebody else, I think that's more rewarding than however you feel and doing it in the moment,
Yeah. Well, it was interesting for me to hear that you guys started because of the pseudo documentary. For us, it was a little weird because we were already on when that thing came about. Yeah. And I've confessed to these ladies in one of those episodes, I wasn't there for the 2005 trial. I was not there because I was embarrassed. Like I was nobody knew about me being a fan. And obviously, then I was not gonna come out and say I am a fan. So hell no, I was even worried. I was even deeper. Like, no, I'm not. I don't know that guy. I don't know who that is. Nope. I denied him.
Michael who?
I denied him like Peter. Like Peter. I denied.
Throwing Michael under the bus, right?
I denied him 3 times, and I was like, and it was bad. So. And they tell me, oh, well, now you're paying for it. Now you're paying for denying him back then. And I think I am because it's 7 years of this thing and I'm paying my sins. But yeah, it was hard. That time was hard. I could not be a good fan and I regret it because I should have been more supportive. But of course, I was not going to help anything. I mean, come on. It was all bad in the news. And but when this thing came about, my mind was blown because I'm going to live through this now. Because now I'm a voice. Now I'm in this podcast. Now people listen. And I'm the one. Right? We're the ones in Spanish. You guys are the ones over there. So it's like, we talked about it. What are we going to do? Because this shit is happening. And what's going on? We're supposed to support Michael. We're doing it for 4 years, and this shit's happening. And is this over?
Jason's still mad about it.
I didn't even want to live through that thing. So it became weird because now I understand even more what he went through, because we went through it through this documentary. And it was hard for everybody. Like the MJ cast had difficulties as well. They almost finished the whole thing. So it was bad. It was bad. Because this documentary...
How did you navigate that space? Because I think that is like a really unique perspective. We came about because of it, right? And we felt like, okay, this is not fair.
No. For
Give
us,
him a voice, right? Give him a voice. How did you guys kind of navigate
We
that?
had plans for our podcast to do this and the other, and this year is going to be great, and we're going to do this interview, and we're going to... And then the shit came out, and we're like, oh, hold the press. We can't do any more episodes like that. We're not going to... No interviews, no nothing. Like, we have to be in defensive mode now. We have to see what we're going to do. And we invited, Marcos Cabota, the documentary guy. He made documentaries. And he like, hey, explain to us, what is about documentaries? Why is this happening? Aren't they supposed to be real? And then he goes and explains the whole thing about the production and everything behind the scenes that happens. And he helped out he was also in the NJ cast, and he cleared out all those things. Like, nope, you can actually say whatever you want. And it was kind of hard to hear that. But he told us that the truth. And he already made another documentary. I don't know if you know about Sonic Fantasy. And it's coming out soon somewhere in, I don't know, Amazon, Netflix, whatever. And so I hope we can have him back to talk about that. But it was hard. It was just basically episode by episode, what are we going to do? And just following the news and rebuting them and just staying strong. It was very hard. It was very hard to do this. Somebody said it's just so hard to be a Michael Jackson fan. Nobody does this, but we it's hard to be a Michael Jackson fan. It's not free. Like, come on. It was super intense.
And Sandra, did you guys get any negative feedback from your listeners or from other people? Like, for a while I was fighting people on Twitter, like that, like if you really said something bad about Mike, like you wanted to come to our page and say something nasty, I would engage you, like full frontal engage you. Then they shut down our Twitter because I used too many Michael videos and MJ After Dark, because we had this other sideshow called MJ After Dark. It was fun. But anyway, used too many videos. Twitter shut me down. So we had to start a new page. And it's kind of for the best, because the way I went after people on the other page, I was like, I don't need this popping up sometime later. But I went after them because I was like, don't come over here with that bullshit. I mean, like, if you want to be a troll, I will engage you for a little while. Not long, but a little while. And so it was difficult. Like, you're right, it was difficult being a fan. So Sandra, like, I wonder if you guys had, to engage in kind of some of that, like, listen, we are pro Mike. It's hard to be pro something that the majority or the media is pushing against, right? But you're the dissent and you're the minority saying, and like, I think this is where a Black and brown perspective becomes even more important, because we know what it's like to be the minority dissenting against this idea from the majority and then we know it's wrong, right? And it's being pushed as right, but this is wrong, right? Jim Crow was wrong. The way that people have been treated in your community has been wrong, though, and we know that. And but the majority is going, oh no, it's no problem here, right? Everything's cool. So we're used to that fight. So in a way, this is just an extension of that. How did you guys kind of handle some of that constant, that battle, like in real time, because you had this podcast going? How did you guys kind of manage that?
Our public is different. It's complex, but it's different. Most of them are fans already. So I don't know. The problem we have, and that's the reason we started this podcast, is that the people in the Latin community doesn't know much about Michael because of the language.
Mm-hmm.
They love his music, they love his videos, but they don't know much about, what people says about him, or, the drama. They don't know much. And most of times they have wrong ideas, like mixed things, no? The things are lost in translation. So what we want to do is to make things clear for them. So I don't think we have had people against us or Michael. No, Ale?
No, we didn't engage.
No.
Ale kind of tried to engage, but we told her don't engage.
Smart thing to do.
Yeah,
she's nodding.
She's the one that can tell you about that. But no, we try not to.
I'm a little bit of like to fight.
Only a little bit.
It's a little.
Me and Alex gonna team up on these people. Like,
oh yeah,
they're always telling me not to do it, but I'm kind of like.
And Alex is my twin. Like, I'm ready to fight. I'm like, but you have to like temper that need to, that desire to do that, right? Like, you try to keep it in check. And even now, someone said something on a video we posted on Instagram. They were like, and I knew they didn't mean anything bad by it. I just didn't respond. They were like, oh yeah, I remember when Michael died. It was really sad. My son was watching with me. And he said, Dad, why are you so sad? Who is this guy that's dead? And I said, it's Michael Jackson. And he said, oh, I thought Michael Jackson was white. And he's like, no, he's not white. This is Michael Jackson's black, but this is before he became white or something like that. And it's like, I know that you don't mean, you know what I mean? Like something really sinister, but it's also like, okay, I'm just going to let that wash over me. I'm just going to let that go and, keep it.
Yeah.
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 Sometimes it's just ignorance, but still.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have another question because I feel like we're vibing now. We're vibing.
Yep.
So we're family now. Yeah.
I know. We're like I'm telling you, when I show up in Mexico somewhere, I want you to come find me.
Right. Yeah.
We'll take you have some tacos.
Yes. We love tacos. Oh my gosh, love tacos. Best tacos I ever had in my life was in Cabo. So listen, if it's wherever it is, I'm there. Okay. But I kind of want to get into a little bit about like some of the current events and some of the newer things that are happening in the Michael Jackson community. So we know that the biopic will be coming out next year. Allegedly, the estate is not. They're not always on top of things because we're still waiting on Thriller 40. But, what do you guys think about the biopic, and what do you guys hope to see in the biopic? Because nobody knows what's going to happen right now.
We have mixed feelings. No, comments. How do you say?
I have two words.
Right.
Tengo miedo.
Oh God, why are you scared? No.
She's afraid.
No.
And I'm hopeful. They're scared.
We're not okay with it.
And I'm hopeful.
We're not okay with the cast.
Yeah.
You're talking about Jafar?
They don't like Jafar.
No.
Okay, why not? Because we kind of tried to address this with Taj, and we said, there's a lot of like mixed feelings in the community about your cousin being cast as, Michael. He doesn't have any experience. We kind of hit it head on, right? Like he doesn't have a resume. Right. He has nothing. He does kind of look like him. I'll give you that.
Yeah. He does.
He does look like him. I'll give you that too.
Many
but
others.
We're concerned. Right. Y'all all look alike.
Saying,
so there's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
We were saying this is not for a blood. How do you say? ¿Cómo dices? Transfusión de sangre.
Blood transfusion. Blood transfusion.
It's not about blood transfusion or something like that. It doesn't have to be family. It has to be a person who can act and who has a resume. He has experience. It's such a difficult tasks to be Michael Jackson. You just can't grab somebody because it's family.
Yeah.
Okay. He has to make, have experience.
So what did he say about that? Give him a chance.
Taj. Well, he said he saw the. So I don't know a whole lot about movie production or how they do this, but I guess like there's the test that you do where you do the full test? Like the screen test. He said he said he was skeptical as well, and then he saw that and he said he cried. He said he cried and he really he said he believed like, okay, my cousin can do this. So he's got a deeper insight into things than we do, because Sandra, we said the same thing, right? Like, okay, that's great, but is he really prepared to do this given he doesn't have an acting background and he doesn't have, the training, And so that was kind of what Taj felt. And so, of course, we said, listen, we hope, we wish the best for him. We hope that he is blow our minds, right? Like make us, like go and say shame on us for not believing.
That's right. That's what I told them. I told them that in the episode.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
How old is he?
I told them, you're going to eat your words. I told him that. Because I'm trusting.
How old is he?
Jafar?
I think he's 20 something. He's Jermaine's son with Alejandra. So, oh gosh, he had to be born in the early 90s.
Yeah, he might. I don't think he's 30 yet.
After Margaret,
I don't think he's 30 yet.
I mean, for his age, if he was a good actor, wouldn't he be
famous already?
Famous now or something?
Yeah, but. Well, I'm trusting the production. The production team is a great team, from Bohemian Rhapsody. And that was an amazing movie. So I'm just trusting them. That's it. I'm just trusting that team. But, I mean, I have the same doubts as they do. But I am more positive about it. So
I imagine they have to have a number of different Michaels the same way with the miniseries. So maybe he's only going to play Michael.
That's what I thought. But they said no.
20 to 30 or 35. Maybe he's only going to do like a time frame, and then someone else will pick up for more mature, like maybe 35 to Michael passed away. He was almost 50. So maybe there's going to be like he's just in a certain number of years. He can dance and he can sing. So maybe this is also why they maybe want him to do more of the physically challenging parts, when the performance pieces, maybe that's it. We don't know. There's still like a big, huge like question mark on this documentary, on this biopic, because I don't think we've gotten wait a minute, John Branca. I think he did release an update not long ago.
They say he's my uncle because I'm the only one that supports him. But that's all right. I'm just...
you support him? Yeah,
I don't
support. Are the only one who supports him. Yeah.
I don't support him per se, but I'm always hopeful. I'm always hopeful. That's it. I'm just hopeful.
I think he's a thief of the highest regard.
Oh, John Brock.
I don't think the will is legit, but I think that I think he's invested in the success of Michael's estate because it's financially beneficial.
Because it's paying him.
Yeah, of course.
So
wouldn't I do that?
I don't think I don't think he's, whatever, but I think he recently released an update and said that someone else was someone of note, some sort of, substance was joining the team. But I mean, we haven't heard any other casting news. What do you guys think about that? Because Michael can't be Michael Jackson in a Michael Jackson biopic by himself. So like the fact that we haven't heard any other big names signing on, what do you guys think about that?
Ooh. I didn't pay attention to it, but when is the movie supposed to come out?
Well, it's supposed to be sometime next year, but like I said, the estate is not.
Oh my goodness!
They're not on top of.
Sandra doesn't believe. Sandra does not believe.
Well, then again, Bohemian Rhapsody did not have super amazing big names on it, and ended up being nominated and everything. So
it's Michael Jackson. It's like I feel like you gotta have like. They need a big name. That Jafar is, that's cute. I mean, okay, great. He's here. Got it. Put him, okay. Give him his stuff. Let him do the thing. You need a big name that is not afraid to be associated with this effort. And I don't know who. I want Michael B. Jordan because I literally want
to do
Michael
what?
B. Jordan. I don't know.
What is he going to do in the film?
I don't know. Find something for him to do. But I want a big
to be
name,
Barry
like,
Gordy or something. Like
he can be who he can be. Mine is what he can be. But what I really enjoy.
If the production,
what I really enjoyed.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, what I really enjoyed was we recently talked about how Angela Bassett, when she decided to play Katherine Jackson, there was her team was like, Michael just got accused of XYZ. I don't think you should do this. And she pushed back and said, this is a story about, I'm playing a mother, and I'm playing a mother who had the strength and will to will her children out of poverty and into a status and a place that no one else could go. And I'm committed to playing that role. That's the story I want to tell. And she, in spite of the fact that these allegations were out there, and this was in the 90s, early 90s, she chose, and at this point she had already done, she was a name in Hollywood. And so I'm imagining that it's going to be a similar situation with actors and actresses. Are you willing to take any heat? Because it's coming, but we need actors and actresses that have a name to agree to do this. I think just because, Freddie Mercury was great, but he's not Michael Jackson. We need, big names to agree to want to do this. And I'm concerned that we haven't heard any, and what that means for the biopic.
I repeat,
I don't know.
If I'm the production team and I say, okay, we did Bohemian and it became the biggest and we didn't need any big names, we can do it again and save some money because they don't have to pay all this money to these big actors. So I think they believe in themselves that they can do it again. And that's why they maybe not adding anybody else. But of course, a big name on it would be amazing, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
Uncle John is not going to invest anymore.
Uncle John.
And he has to.
What do you think, Alex? You think we need a big name? We don't need a big. What is Michael Jackson's definitive, authorized by the estate, X amount of millions of dollars already pumped into it? It's gonna boost the California economy by. There is a number already projected by how much it will boost the economy in the state of California. Do we need a big name or do we not need a big name?
That's the question. And with the strike and everything going on, right?
There's a strike, right?
Yeah. Strike. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the writer's strike.
Yeah. I think that with Bohemian Rhapsody, the thing is the concert. And that was like the main, like the most interesting and appealing thing of the movie. The concert and the thing that they achieved with that, because you felt like you were there in a concert. So I don't know what's gonna be the take on this movie, and I don't know what to expect. I don't have a lot of faith. So I'm expecting Uncle John to make me eat my words.
Two things. The first thing is, yes, the Bohemian Rhapsody is about the concert section. And I mean, are they going to do that again? Because it's not going to work then, because you already did it. No. We already seen that. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm afraid of that. What are you going to do then? But then again, Uncle John did the, the one in New York right now. And everybody's saying it's great. I have not seen it myself, but I've heard great things about it. And I'm like, okay, so if you were able to do that with people that wrote it that we also had some issues with, what are you gonna do? Maybe you're gonna do something amazing here too. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trusting the creativity is there, and that it works. It's all about creativity, and there's always ways to do things great. I mean, creativity is like Michael was. The sky is the limit. Yeah. So let's see what they do. I'm very interested to see what they're going to do. IMAX. I would like to see an IMAX though.
I think it'll be fun. I mean, look, we're all going to go see it, and we're all going to do an episode about it after the fact. So I'm excited to see what they come up with. I think like Taj feels like there's some people trying to sabotage everything Michael related, and he may be correct and he may not be correct. But I can't wait to see what's going to happen. We'll see.
Well, like This Is It. Did you guys like This Is It? You have your feelings about it?
Yeah, I mean, This Is It came out in a time where the emotions were so raw in the fan community, and everybody,
it's
especially
exploitative.
Us, yeah, like people were wanting to see Michael. Nobody got to go to any of those 50 concerts, and so this was the closest thing we were going to get to it, and they knew that. Yeah. But I think we all also could see, maybe not in that moment, because I think we went to the theater twice to see it, and we sang and danced like we were at a concert. But I think that in looking at it now, you could clearly see Michael wasn't well. Right. And so it's like, do I want to watch this man basically implode? On camera, trying to do something that he didn't want to do. Yeah. And it's sad. It's just so sad now. Like, I haven't watched This Is It in years.
Wow.
I haven't watched it in years because it's so sad.
Because of that. Exactly. Because of that, you don't watch it. But as a film, as an editor, it's a great piece of film. Like, it is very well put together. The audio is great. The visuals are great. The special effects they put in there are great. They did a really, really good job with that. So I'm saying they did that great. They did the one great. They did the Broadway great. I mean, come on. I mean, of course, the CDs maybe are not the best. But when it comes to these stories, they've been doing good.
It's not good. Yeah, I'm gonna put fake songs on the CD.
The CDs maybe not too great.
When that CD came out, I was in college, and so when Michael died, I was in college, and I all my friends were like, "I'm taking it." Like, first of all, the night he died, we went to the club. They were like, "You can't stay here. You have to go out." And the DJ, that's all they played all night, Michael Jackson. And I was so sad. My friends, thank God for friends, right? Your college friends are special. They would just not let me sit in the dorm and be sad because everyone knew I was like the Michael Jackson girl. You want to see a DVD? Come down to my room. You can borrow it. You better bring it back. I will come find you. Bring it back, Like, I would blast the music and leave my door open. We would, in the school I went to, people would, play their music and leave their door open. So, like, the whole hall could hear it. And when I played my music, it would be a lot of times Michael Jackson, and everybody loves Michael's music, right? Yeah. So when he died, it was just like, for me, it was just devastating. I had to turn my cell phone off because people were just calling me, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, like I'm having a meltdown." And so I was really sensitive to everything that happened after the fact because there was so many questions we didn't have an answer to. So I think when This Is It came out, and I went to the theater many times to see this, every time it was a standing ovation and people were, singing along the whole, film. And I do think they put it together well. I think the thing that the fake songs is what they're fake, right? And they're just fake. But I think that the thing about This Is It is that, and then some other projects as well, like the Michael album, when Miss Catherine Jackson raises her voice in protest to something about Michael, I am highly sensitive to that protest because this is his mother. And not only is she his mother, she's the woman who he adored above all other women. And the woman who he in his will said, "I have to take care of her if something happens to me." And the woman who we all saw at his memorial, like, just seeing her, if that didn't make you emotional, right? And her saying, even in Janet's documentary, "I cannot talk about Michael." If she doesn't like something, I don't like it neither. Because I know that for her, it's beyond money. It's about her son and his craft and the thing he loved the most, which was his art. And if she has a problem, I have a problem. So when the state does things that she's vocal about in a dissent, I'm paying attention, as to that dissent, because I think we have to continue to honor her as his mother, and she's still here. So the Michael album, we know the family was not happy about it. They were saying, "Hey, this is not his voice. These are not his vocals." I think the sale of his catalog, she's been vocal about, which has been, of course, under John Branca. And then I think when you look at the biopic, I think she sounds like she's okay with that. Haven't heard anything negative about the biopic. So that's kind of my guide. She's like my guiding light. If she's unhappy, I look at the project more closely at that point. If she's happy, I leave it alone. If she's not happy, I really look at it and go, this is a mother who truly loves all her children. And I think she was especially sensitive to Michael because he had so much on his shoulders and caring for himself and his family. And he was such a different soul, He wasn't like the other boys. He wasn't like, what I mean? He was so different. So when she's upset about something the estate is doing, I'm upset about something the estate is doing because I look at a mother's love. You think about how, if you guys have kids, Alex and Sandra, I don't know if you have kids, but I think about we all have a mother, and you think about your mother's love. It's something special. And so when your mom is saying, when she becomes mama bear in a situation, my ears kind of perk up to that.
Yeah, you kind of reminded me right now about the other episode that I cried on. It was the one with Maradona. We did a comparison between Michael Jackson and Maradona, the soccer player.
Okay.
And the guy that we invited, he also knew so much about soccer, and so many things were so similar, and they suffer so much the same things that I was like, oh my God. this is too much. It's too much for me to take.
Yeah.
And I'm a soccer fan too, so I did not know about that about Maradona. So that was pretty crazy. And but
I told you, he's a sensitive guy.
and of course, that's why I feel about Mike. That's why I how do you say, I identify myself with Michael, because I have a lot I have a lot of him in me that I can feel it. I can sense it. So yeah, it's hard to explain.
Okay. Well, I have another question, because I'm usually, so I'm the voice that's usually guiding the episodes. Let me just be clear. Y'all can probably tell. I'm that person. I have another question though. So Dr. Conrad Murray has just opened a medical clinic in Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
And he plans on doing medical things. Obviously, he's banned in the United States from practicing medicine because he killed his patient. And he has the backing of Joel Osteen for this clinic. And so I just want to get and one of our people on Patreon actually sent this article, and I was like, I know you effing lying. This man is not practicing medicine again. But what do you guys think about that? Do you think he should be allowed to practice medicine ever again on planet Earth?
I don't know. I told you I'm the hopeful one, so I don't hate Murray. I hated him before, but I no longer hate him. And I just feel sorry for that guy. That's all I feel. I feel sorry for him. I feel he was a victim of the circumstances as well. He did want things, yes, but he as well was involved in this machine that was just. It was, as we said it in the episode before, it was a train going to crash. So it was him at the wheel at the moment. Gonna happen to anybody.
He's a responsible person, and he's a narcissistic person. So a person like that is not. I mean, he's dangerous for people, for patients. She could do anything else, be a mechanic, whatever. But you're playing with people, with lives. So I don't know, but I don't think he should be allowed. No.
Yeah. Allie, what do you think?
The thing is that it depends on the legal circumstances of the country and of the state. I understand that in the United States, it's even different from states to state. I teach at medical school, so that is really something to always have in mind and to talk about ethics and those topics. And sometimes when you have those situations, sometimes you can have a person that is responsible for the health of the patient, and sometimes it's an accident, but it's also you're responsible for that. Right. And there are other times in which you are like 100% conscious of the things that you are doing, and I think that situation is even worse. But it depends on the legal circumstances and the country and the thing with it's a legal thing. But I don't think that he should be able to be outside in just how many years did he stay in jail? Like 5 years, something
like 4,
that, right?
4 or 5 years, yeah.
I think it was too soon. But I understand that as soon as you finish that sentence, maybe you are able to incorporate yourself to the society and to practice again. That depends on the legal subjects that country in particular has. But there's another topic that it has to do with redemption and forgiveness, and I think that those topics are even more sensitive. But I think that with Conrad Murray, it was a matter of time. It was going to be him or anyone else. It could have been Klein, or it could have been David Rowe, or it could have been Michael, but it was Conrad Murray, right? But I don't think that he's the only one responsible for Michael's death.
We are all responsible for Michael's death.
I think that he should have been punished in a more in a better way. So I don't think that is a good thing to send that message that this person can be able to work again like nothing happened. But I know that that happens with a lot of doctors, with a lot of medical staff. But it's a really, really sensitive subject.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Jason, what do you mean by we are all responsible for Michael's death?
Well, he's an artist and he's always performing for us. Like, in a way, we make him sing for us. We make him do better things for us. We want more. We want better. We want, we're not happy with Invincible. We want thrillers. I mean, it's a pressure. We do that to him, and it's hard. Yeah. And it makes him take drugs. It makes him get the doctor. It makes him. I mean, I can see it. It's my fault too. I wasn't there in 2005. I feel sorry about that. I was hiding.
Oh, we had it covered. Don't worry.
Yeah. We were right out there. If we had some doves, we'd have been releasing them doves.
Yeah, 2005 was tough. I think Conrad Murray. So he cannot practice in the United States. Thank God. The folks in Trinidad
but they have no clue.
Tobago. Yeah, those folks.
They need help.
Tobago.
Yeah, they can get help from anybody. Yeah.
They need to know. And they didn't want him there either. He fought really hard to be allowed to practice there. They did not. They were denying him initially. And he appealed and he fought. And they finally, had to allow him. I just think that, the thing for me is that he's never taken responsibility. He's never said, I failed my patient. I failed Michael Jackson. I should have never been giving him this drug outside of a hospital setting. B, I should have never left him alone while I was doing this. The judge in the case said you abandoned your patient. So not only were you doing something illegal, you then decided to take phone calls and check emails, and then you called his children in, and then you hid drugs, and then you tried to clean, you tried to distort and clean a crime scene. Michael got the paramedics got there and thought that he was a hospice patient. What kind of doctor are you? The nurse that took the stand said, Michael asked me to give him this. And I told him, I cannot do this for you. Let me introduce more holistic and natural remedies to help you sleep. And he refused, right? And so he found a drug dealer with a medical license to do what he wanted, right? And when you really paint that picture, Conrad Murray is not fit for public consumption, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, you guys should not hire this man. He cannot be trusted with your life. A patient died under his watch unnecessarily because of his neglect. Do not put your life in this man's hands, and the folks in Trinidad, good luck, because he is not allowed to do that here anymore. We will not let him practice ever again. And I can't imagine any other country would either. This is just his home country. And so he even had to fight there, because they didn't really want to let him either. And so I think that, there's forgiveness, there's redemption. And we talked about this on our news special in Patreon. And we said, listen, we don't like what he's done. But ultimately, these people have to for themselves if they want him to be their physician. We know he's done good things for other people. But sometimes, and I can say this even as an attorney, sometimes the one bad thing you do is enough to where it's for the public safety that you can't do this thing anymore. And that's where I think the rubber meets the road for him. For the safety of the public, you cannot be allowed to do this thing because they are in danger if you are free to do it. And to me, that's him, and I don't like it, but also that like Alex said, that's not our jurisdiction. That's another country. They have to decide for themselves, and we have to kind of respect that. I'm a big Star Trek fan too, and that's like the big thing about the Prime Directive. I don't know who else likes Star Trek. It's like the Prime Directive, like don't interfere with other. Don't interfere with other worlds and their rules and how they do stuff. You don't gotta like it, but it's not your business. Essentially, shout out to all the Trekkies that listen to MJRadio.
I would not let him treat me. That's for sure. So
no.
No, thank you. I'd be like, send me up the street, please, to somebody else.
Now, these doctors, like, that are basically drug dealers, are very common, especially in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about Lisa Marie, who, we just knew she got a bypass, something like she didn't need, because she was not that big, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't need that. I was thinking maybe it's just that kind of doctors that want money from you, that, tell things that are not true, that just, because she didn't need that kind of
procedure.
Procedure. Yeah. She was not that big, so
And Sandra, can you talk a little more about that? Because I briefly read the article. We were talking to somebody else, another fan, and we were talking about what truly, like, what the official medical cause of death was. So can you explain a little bit of that for the folks who are listening who have no idea what happened to her officially?
It's since she had recently a procedure for losing weight, like a gastric bypass or something like that.
A bariatric procedure.
Yes, to lose weight. And that is something that applies to people who is really, really fat, not for people with, I don't know, a little overweight, So I don't know why they did that to her. I mean, especially when we know she had problems with pills, with drugs, and people who has this kind of procedures or surgeries, after the operation, they have to have pills for a long time, long time, to deal with the changes in the body. So it's just crazy why she had to do that. Who told her to do that? It doesn't make any sense.
And that explains too why she looked so
super thin,
small, super at the thin. Even at the Elvis premiere. She looks
emaciated.
I was like, is she on drugs? What is going on? Like, but you just don't ever know. And I know people in Hollywood have unnecessary procedures to, like, as a preventative, like, so that they don't get big or so that they don't, whatever. And that's their business. They got money to do that, I guess. But I know, even as being a hairstylist, like, there are a lot of things that people ask me to do their hair, and I'm like, that's not good for your hair. I'm not going to do it, and you can go somewhere else and get it done, but I'm not going to be responsible for what happens, right? But everybody doesn't take that stance across the board. So I hate that for Lisa Marie. I truly believe that Michael was in love with her as much as Michael could be in love with anybody. And I hate that for her because she had 2 little kids. I don't even know how old they were, but they're not that old. They're not teenagers yet. And so I hate that that's why she passed. And I just pray that her family, those that are left, finds peace somewhere in knowing what actually happened. But I'll tell you, I said this on, I don't even remember which episode it was. It was right after she passed away. I was like, did Elvis sell his soul to the devil or something? Because it's a lot going on, like with Elvis, and then her son passed away, and then she passed away after.
Tragedies.
I was like, Elvis sold his soul. He sold his soul at the Devil's Crossroads in Memphis, Tennessee, to be famous, because he wasn't that great.
It's a procedure that it makes your stomach smaller. Ali, do you know anything about it?
Yes.
Yeah, to reduce the stomach.
To reduce the stomach, right? So you can eat less. And what she died of is
really
a common. It's kind of like a common side effect, not a side effect, but of that procedure.
An obstruction
to die
like
of. So they know the risk of it.
Obstruction.
So Ali, and maybe you. Can you explain? Because I've had a couple of friends who have had this procedure, and one of them told me that you have to be a certain size to be approved. And so this goes back to what Sandra was saying. Like, I never knew her to be, you know, like of a size where you would get approved for this surgery. So like, how does that work? Obviously, you know, when you got enough money, they'll do whatever you want them to do. But, you know, is that the truth though? Like, you have to be, like, they're typically looking for maybe your BMI or your overall weight to be a certain size. Is that normally how it works?
You have to be morbid obese.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Or if your health is in danger because of obesity, but you have to be, you know, quite obese.
So she had two things. She had two things that she didn't have to do it. Number one, she was not morbidly obese, and number two, she had problems with the pills already that they knew she was gonna have to get into. So she had no reason whatsoever to do this.
As I was saying, when you go through that, you have to take pills for a long, long time.
And she already had problems. No, unnecessary.
Yeah, she already had problems. Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy.
Or maybe the reduction was not that much. Maybe it wasn't a procedure that is like with obese or morbid obese patients. Maybe it was like.
But it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But it's the same procedure.
She had the procedure, and you can have those complications after the surgery. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's dangerous. A lot of people does it, but it doesn't mean that it's okay. Yeah. It's dangerous. You can die.
Besides, she was depressed, and all the mental state in which she was going through after her son. So depression, anxiety, all those problems, those can make your health to be in a really dangerous situation with your health, your physical health.
Recently, in an interview, Priscilla said that, you know, they asked about Michael, and she said, I think he used Lisa, and they barely saw each other through the marriage, and that was it. And I was like, she doesn't know anything. So what was the relationship between she and her mother, when her mother obviously doesn't know about her life? Because it wasn't like that, we know that. So maybe she didn't have that net, you know, family net that to help her. I don't know.
Yeah, but even if you have that net, you know, Michael, they trying to intervene him, didn't work. Sometimes it just has to happen.
But he was not close to his family at the time. But Lisa was supposed to be close to the mother. But, you know, when I listened to her saying those things, you know, like, she didn't know her own daughter that well.
Right.
To say that.
Right.
She and never liked that marriage. That was nothing. She's been consistent through the years that she did not. Priscilla has never approved of that. This is
Priscilla that was 14 when she met a 24-year-old man and started having a relationship
that
with
minor.
him. That Priscilla?
Minor. Oh, that minor.
Okay.
That minor with that grown man. Yes.
Okay. So, all right. Sure.
But she's been very clear. I don't know the. Like, I get where she's saying, like, I guess I could understand that he used her piece because he was this is on the heels of the thing, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, I can add 2 and 2 to get 4. Like, it does look advantageous for him to now marry a woman, not just any woman, like Elvis's daughter. I can get that perspective. But like you said, like, moms don't always know what's going on with who you're dating and how you're feeling about people. And a lot of times I know this was definitely me when I was younger, like, I know she's not gonna like this, so we're not even gonna talk about this. Like, you're not gonna know anything about this unless it comes to the place where I need to reveal, you know?
Right.
And so, like, I think she kind of, and she should know that you were 14 hanging out with a 20-something-year-old guy. Like, that's how girls are. That's how young girls are. That's how you are in your teens or preteens in her case, and your 20s, like you, and beyond, right? People like. Janet even said weddings, who knows who's getting married in our family? Like, you just show up and there's a new wife or there's a new whatever, right? Like, so I think that, you know, like, I think, Sandra, I think you're right. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, you didn't know your daughter 360 because what parent does? Like, we don't want to share everything with you. It's uncomfortable for everyone involved, right? That's right. I mean, maybe I can imagine if I were Lisa Marie in 93 and 94 and I decided to date Michael Jackson in the midst of this.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, I'm not telling everybody. I'm definitely not telling my mom.
Wasn't she, didn't she go with him on part of the Dangerous tour? She was at the shows, right?
Lisa?
Yeah.
Was she? I know she was on History.
Because
no, well, it was after.
Was it the History? Because I know she was with him for. We're doing it. I'm editing, and our next episode that's going to come out this month for Jackson Family Honors. So I know that in '94 at the Jackson Family Honors show, she was his guest. She was still married then, so they wanted to make sure they kept that a little hush hush. But she knew him before then, and to be really honest, Priscilla it's a lot of stuff she can shut her mouth about, but she has no idea. Lisa Marie said out of her own mouth, I wanted to save him.
Right.
Yeah.
She wanted to fix him. And a lot of people have
common woman mistake. Why are you trying to fix this guy?
Right.
Like, but we do it, right? Like, we're like, I can fix this guy.
Because we're adorable.
That's exactly what it is.
You need to listen to our last episode. We said exactly that. That's the problem with women.
Yeah.
That is exactly.
I want him.
Yeah.
Right. He's broken. I want a project. I put my builder hat on. I'm like, put my construction hat on. I need a project. I need to build something. Okay. I'm gonna build this man, right? I'm gonna build him up. Yeah. Like, it's just a common thing that women do. I definitely think she thought she could do that.
Yeah.
And then when she got inside,
how wrong she was.
She got inside the house and she said, "There's a lot more problems. The plumbing don't work. The electric is shot. I think I'm about to fall through this floor if I walk any more on it." Like, I mean, she
saw it.
She didn't know what she inherited when she, because like, didn't she say like, he was never home. He was, because Michael, he was always like, he wouldn't even go home when he was in California. He would stay at hotels. She's like, I'm at the house. Why are you at a hotel? So I think, like, I agree 100%. I think, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. That's her daughter. And of course she loved her. And I know she loved her daughter, and loves her daughter. But I think that it's like, as a woman, that there are things you don't tell your mom. That there are emotions and things because she may not approve, right? And so you keep them to yourself. I think that's the Michael space for Lisa Marie.
Yeah, and she was always not very, but she was decently respectful of Michael even after they split. I mean, she would answer questions, but she tried to keep it real cute and classy and move on with the interview. So God rest Lisa Marie.
God rest Lisa Marie. Yeah.
I hate that for her, but I wanna, because we've been talking about not positive things. My last question on current events for you guys is about Janet Jackson and her Together Again tour. So the numbers just came out because she wrapped her tour on June 21st. And this has been Janet's most lucrative. She has made the most money on this tour than any other tour in her career.
Wow.
What do you guys think about that?
Freaking A. The documentary helped.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that documentary. I'm not a fan of Janet. I've told him, but I respect her and I like her, and I know her more through this podcast because I learn a lot about a lot of things in this podcast. And so I'm glad about that. I did not know the numbers, and we talked about her a lot during the documentary already. So I guess we're gonna have to go talk about her again now that these numbers came out.
Yeah, I think it's something like 50 million is what she ended up grossing at the end of the tour.
Wow. I missed her.
Money.
I did not see her.
No?
I did not.
We saw her.
She came.
You didn't miss much.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw her in Charlotte, North Carolina, and she was very she thought she was in Raleigh, so she kept saying Raleigh. And everybody was like, we're not in Raleigh, baby. We're in Charlotte.
We were like, girl, we are in Charlotte. You are tripping.
Really?
She did this the whole show. She did it the whole show.
Nobody told her. Nobody told her? Come on.
Nobody told her.
Right. You got a whole team of people and nobody told you where we are.
It's like
Have
that.
any of y'all ever seen her show?
A concert and online only. I seen her at the rodeo. She sang, I don't know how many songs.
Yeah.
Okay.
The radio.
Here in Texas, yeah.
How many times have we seen her now? Enough.
A lot.
I think enough.
I've seen
like
her three times. I think you've seen her 4 times.
Oh yeah, I saw her at Essence Fest. She was at Essence Fest the year that I went. Yeah, she does a really good show. I mean, for the like her fans, I can say this, like when they do Scream, every time I've seen her, when they do Scream, the crowd is like to another level. The last show we were at, so some Gen Zs, I think they were Gen Zs. They were like right next to us. And you know, millennials, Gen Zs, we got some crossover, but then it's like, I don't know what y'all got going on. Like, just do your thing over here. Okay. They were like, when Scream came on, they were like, oh my God, can you imagine if Michael was here? What if Michael was here? And they were just going crazy. Like, if Michael was here, imagine how much, imagine the, the impact and the reaction from and it was cool to see people who I know were in their early 20s, you know, react this way to Scream coming on and Michael coming on the Jumbotron. Like the whole show, everybody's screaming for her. But when Michael and her are on the screen together, it's like a new level of like excitement. The whole place like just goes up all at one time. Everybody's sitting down, chilling, like enjoying. Michael comes on the screen, everybody goes up. And like, I love that she keeps it in her show and doesn't take it out. Like, cause she knows like she plays the Jackson 5 at the start of her show before the show starts. The DJ's playing Michael's song. She just really loves her family and you can see it in her show. And I think that's the thing I love the most about the most recent one. She doesn't play any Jermaine hits.
Jermaine who?
Jermaine Jax, her other brother.
Girl, stop.
I don't know.
There no other solo hits. You know, we've got the episode of Brother Not Named Michael. None of those brothers. None of those songs make the list, but Michael's songs make the list. The J5 songs, the Jacksons, and she plays them, and the DJ's going, "Y'all love the Jacksons? You love Michael Jackson?" I mean, it's so much fun, and I love how she loves her family on her show. So, like, there's someone in our Patreon that's going, "Is she coming to Europe? Is she coming to Europe?" And we're like, "Oh, like maybe,
doubtful.
But maybe she takes the tour to South America. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what she's gonna do next, but if she does, you guys gotta go." You got to see it. It's a lot of fun. You're going to know some of the, like, I don't even know all her stuff because I'm not a big Janet fan either. I like her stuff, but I'm not like a huge fan. But so you'll know some songs, and then she definitely incorporates her family. So it's a nice show.
I think she's never been to Latin America.
No.
Really?
No.
Seriously?
Oh my God.
Wow. Are you serious?
Should be ashamed.
Yeah.
Wow. She's missing out.
Wow.
She's missing out already.
Not even in her prime, no.
She doesn't need
really?
it. She doesn't need it.
That's why most of the
designated,
people over here they don't know about her. Maybe because
see my face.
they only think about the little sister, Michael's little sister, but not Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
I did not know that.
That is tragic.
Yes. It's
Oh my
tragic,
God.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
have a
kinda
friend.
crazy.
I have a friend. She's from Colombia, and she was telling me that she grew up in Miami though, and she was telling me that when she was younger, Janet was her favorite because she just liked her confidence, and she liked. And I'm a bigger Janet Jackson fan than my sister is. And she liked her confidence, and she said like the Pleasure Principle was like her favorite song because it was just so strong and just so like, you know. So I just hate that Janet hasn't been to South America because, man, first of all, y'all have a good time in Latin America or in Latin countries. Y'all have a good time, okay? Every time I've been,
this is why Black people and Hispanics. This is why we do this so easily because we have the same spirit. We're
The
like,
same
and
spirit,
then so many Latin countries have African influence. Like it's like, you know, it's like we're like this. We're like this. Like, and we know how to have a good time. I just can't believe she's never been. Yeah.
Yeah, she should be ashamed of herself. And one of the things that I will say, and this is a throwback to her documentary, and as I like to call it, her propaganda piece, because she wasn't going to tell us nothing new, okay?
Yeah,
but in her documentary, she talked about how her and Michael, I really love that scene, her and Michael sitting on the floor writing Scream and him talking about the concept of the video. And he said, you know, I want that Black Cat energy, which I love Black Cat. That is one of my favorite Janet songs. After Scream went off, then she played a little bit of Black Cat right after it. And I just thought that was a really good nod to the documentary and what she said about how Michael apparently really liked that song. And so it was just a good show. If you guys ever get the chance to see her, which Mother is, how old is she now? 57. I don't know. We don't know. But she looked great. She sounded like herself. That's all I can say. I can't say she sounded great, but she sounded like herself. And she needs to go to Latin America. We need to send her an email. Listen, Jason, the way you sent the MJ Cast an email, honey, let's all like do like a little campaign.
Let's do that.
Janet, let's get to Latin America. Janet, like, what is going on? I can't believe she's never been.
Like, I can that with the husband, right? He was like from Mexico or something like that. René Elizondo.
René Elizondo. He was Mexican.
Yes.
Was he? Oh,
I think
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And the
I don't know if born and raised, but he's Latin.
Oh,
not the DeBarge guy. The DeBarge guys.
No,
René
DeBarge.
No.
DeBarge.
René Elizondo.
Okay.
The one she was married to, nobody knew she was married to him.
The one he divorced that right before the Velvet Rope.
Yeah, he was the hands on the Janet cover.
We found a little piece.
Oh, that's him.
We found a little piece of information in the documentary. I think the girls remember more than me. It was a date, right, girls? That there was a picture in the room, and you guys said, no, that picture does not go with that date that they put on the screen. And that's wrong. Did you guys catch that or no? That was just us.
When was that? What part of the documentary was that?
At the
picture.
When they were doing Scream, I think.
Yeah.
Can you explain it, Ale or Sandra?
Ale.
I don't remember, Jason.
So many episodes.
I don't remember. But I remember that there was some issue with the time frame, but I don't remember. We
wrote Scream in this state, but then when they put the video, there was a picture that it was him with Lisa Marie, I think, and we're like, no, they took that picture before that date, so something like that. It didn't match.
Yeah.
So like, why don't they research a little better and put the actual correct date in the screen? But that's like the fans. That's what we do.
Don't blame Randy. Don't blame Randy.
Randy did that. I'm gonna blame Randy. Randy did a lot of messed up stuff. So let's just put him as the culprit.
Probably. Yeah. He's the manager, right? So.
Yeah, he's Randy. The hanger-on is what he is. He's good for him.
He's her right-hand man, man. You gotta have a right-hand man.
I guess.
She's got a right-hand man. Yeah, he's the guy.
I mean, they were thick as thieves. They were the two children in the house, when all the other people were adults. So, that sounds like a Randy thing for sure.
I love that they hang out because you don't see the other siblings hanging out like that. Well, I'm sure they do. Like Taj came on and he talked about how they have, cookouts and family day. They still do that. But like they hang out a lot. Randy and Janet seem to be
where Randy gonna go? Where else is he gonna go?
What?
Well, Randy's actually I don't know what you guys think, but I think Randy's one of the more talented of the brothers. Like it's vocally, he's not necessarily a dancer, but he's a writer, Shake Your Body Down to the Ground. I listen to his solo effort and with the Gypsies, and I'm like, wow, this is actually really good. He's really talented. And then I remember some of the commentary around why his career never really took off, because he just doesn't have the discipline essentially to like make it happen. But he's super talented. And like, who was it that said Randy? They call him Mr. Opening Night. Who was it that said that? Oh my God,
that was in Margaret's. But so you guys, we are in our Patreon, we have a summer reading series. We're reading Margaret Maldonado's book, that hot mess of a book that she wrote. But in the book, she says that they called him, especially during the 2300 Jackson Street recordings, he wouldn't show up at the studio to record his parts. And they said that they called him grand opening because he would show up to like the grand opening of events and to like public stuff, but he wouldn't show up to record his parts for the album. And I believe that because that man is
I believe it. Yeah. But he's super talented, right? Like he's got a great voice, and he's like he wrote Shake Your Body. He was 16. Like I'm like, okay, well, like, dude, you're super talented, but he just doesn't have kind of the discipline to kind of make it happen. But like, so it makes, and he also has like a writer's credit on Janet's song "Made for Now" with Daddy Yankee, and so I'm like, Rand's legit. He just,
let's. How many different words are in that song?
I don't care, but if he got a credit, he wrote enough to get a credit.
Made for Now.
We're not okay with that. We're not okay with that collaboration. You know?
No,
you don't like that one?
No, we
No.
don't.
So,
No.
so what do you guys?
Hate.
We love Daddy Yankee.
Like-
What's going on? Like, what's going?
No.
No.
Okay. We hate that kind of music.
I'm sorry,
it's
ladies.
not good for us. No, sorry. We hate reggaeton. So when she collaborated with, we were like, why, Janet? Wait, he's nothing. And you're Janet Jackson. I mean, you don't have to get that low, you know.
You don't come to Latin America and you do
Yeah.
that.
For
Yeah,
us, sorry, he's trash.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Well,
really.
there's a thing with
yeah.
there's a thing with reggaeton music in the Latin community that we like it, we enjoy it in parties and stuff, but
I don't like
but
it.
we don't consider it music.
Music.
Okay.
We consider it
Okay.
fun. But other than
Okay.
that, that's not our no.
It's not music. It's not art. So
That's
she
not art for
shouldn't
us.
be,
So
you know, like
when she goes with him, we're
What
like,
about just commercial
because
wait.
we love Aventura too.
Aventura
No,
is
We
do
have
like
Aventura.
Aventura is not reggaeton
Bachata.
though.
I think that's more like
That's a little better. I think
bachata,
bachata is a little better.
bachata is better.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
bachata is all.
Okay.
Real
Bachata
instruments.
comes from,
Yeah, it's better.
bachata comes from folklore, so it's
It's-
music.
Yeah, that is actual
But
music. Yeah.
reggaeton thing is not music.
But
It's just
reggaeton is
it's
just beats
like
and
trap. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, it's like rap. Yeah.
Yeah.
like
Okay,
trap.
all right.
It's just beats and people mumbling things, and it doesn't have an artistic value for us.
Yeah.
Okay, what about
So when-
Selena? We love Selena too.
Hey, yeah,
But
Selena.
Selena has nothing
Okay.
to do with that.
No, that's-
Selena is other.
She's a queen. Yeah,
Selena is other kind of music. No,
completely different.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
nothing to do. Completely different.
Selena is
Yeah.
Like
more.
saying
Selena,
jazz versus rock.
Damn,
I mean,
Daddy Yankee, he out the door. We thought he was hitting it.
yeah.
No,
What is he
because
from?
I didn't
he's
like
fun.
Gasolina and all of that. I was not
Yeah,
a
he's
fan of
fun.
that.
I like the
I just like
music.
the beat.
Yeah, we like the music. We listen to it,
Yeah.
but that's not.
I don't.
That's not our. Well, you have the people that don't listen to it at
what's
all.
your ideal? What's your ideal Janet Jackson collab with a Latin American artist?
It has
What's
to be
the
a top
What
guy.
who would you guys choose?
Well, I don't
Other
think.
genres.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't think they would know the artists, but like, Juan Gabriel or Jose Jose,
Yeah.
like big names, like real
names.
music,
Last time
real
we heard
singers.
him, but we'll Google them. Yeah, like tell us.
I know
like, yeah,
Jose.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
Luis
know.
Miguel. Oh, Janet Luis Miguel would
Luis
be great.
Miguel.
That would be really nice.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
no.
It's
no.
other level, other.
I like the song though. I like the
You
song.
know,
You see, these
music.
ladies, I'm the positive one, so I like the song. I like the song.
Yeah, I
You
mean
know-
that song is fun. I just is no value in the words because it's like the same 3 sentences over
Right.
and over.
That's
again.
what reggaeton is a lot. It's a lot of repetitive.
That's what reggaeton is.
You have 10
It's just
writers for
a beat,
the
a
same
loop.
sentence. It's ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah.
That's why we don't value it as art. It's just
Yeah.
fun.
No, no.
It's fun for the
Yeah.
parties.
Just fun. It's just fun. Yeah.
It's a party
Janet
song.
is just doing fun.
But
now,
we're not
yeah.
gonna make a podcast and analyze the way they made that song and the impact that it has in our culture. And nobody's gonna do a podcast about reggaeton music. Like, no.
We were insulted, no? We were angry.
Really?
Came up. Yeah, we were like,
Really?
oh, Janet, please, you are Janet Jackson. What are you doing? We were really angry. Ale and myself, not Jason. He's the positive.
Yeah,
He's a positive one.
I like it. I like
But
it.
we were like,
I like
was
reggaeton.
insulted.
I'm
no,
good.
No.
I like corridos
LA,
tumbados too.
that's what we used to go to the Latin clubs in college, and this is what they would play. And then they would play
It
some
sounds great.
bachata, and so we would pretend
yeah.
because we
Bachata
knew a
is
little.
cool.
We knew a
Bachata,
little because, like,
Sounds great.
in America, you learn a little in high school because they don't know what to do with you in Spanish class. So they're like teaching you a little Spanish, just a little, and then they teaching you a dance class on Friday. Like, so you learn a little bit. So we would go to the clubs. We would go to the Hispanic clubs. We go to Latin American clubs on the weekends because they had so much fun, right? Like, and they would mix. It would be a lot of reggaeton, and it would be, some rap, and then
good.
there would be a lot of bachata. So we would like kind of get a
Oof.
mix, and we would hang out. So it was a lot of.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun
I
stuff.
was going to say, the thing with Janet not coming to South America, I think it's because, if Janet comes, she needs a stadium, not a arena, no, a big stadium, Janet. And, the fan base is not that big, so they may lose money. And that's why they don't get Janet to Peru, for example.
But Janet she does cruises. She can go. She has done cruises, no? She can go to small venues.
But he's not gonna come here to be on a cruise or in a little arena. He's gotta be in stadium.
She could do it.
Yeah.
How is she? How is that she does cruises? I don't get it.
Yeah, she does festivals too.
Well, it depends on the festivals.
I mean, she's Janet Jackson.
Cruises, I don't know about
Madonna
cruises.
doesn't do that.
Because you do stuff for money. That's why.
Right.
But how much money can she get from a cruise?
When she did the cruises, she was married to like a millionaire dude. She didn't.
Okay.
She didn't need
Wasim something.
She didn't need the cruises. Maybe that was just for fun though, because I've done cruises. I'm performing cruises. It's fun. It's fun.
Really?
Don't get him started.
He has a lot of
No.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna start a letter writing campaign. We're gonna try to get Janet down to South America, because even though we don't even know what the hell she's saying most of the time. So really, it's not about what she's saying. It's really all about just the music and the vibe. And I can just see the party that would happen if, like, even if she did like 3 shows and you just got to get there. Like, I think that would be awesome for her. But
no, I love to. I love Janet.
Yeah, she's great energy, great fun. But again, she's 50 some years old, so she might be going home to sit down.
Yep.
Yeah. Just take a look at Madonna, right?
Right. Well, I think, that's another story. I think Madonna had some work done, and that's why she messed around and got some kind of infection, but nobody asked me, so I'm a hush.
What's wrong with Madonna? She sick?
She had some kind of infection or something, and she had to cancel her tour.
She was about to see the Lord.
She was. Mm-hmm. She was about to answer for all of her crimes, honey, because... Yeah. She was about to answer for that in the closet suggestion
several times. So it's a different, like, I don't know, public for Madonna maybe and for Janet Jackson, because here, at least here in Mexico, you don't get to see fans or to know about people being a fan of Janet. So maybe they only know about her because she's Michael's little sister.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's amazing.
We'll see.
Yeah. And it happens the same with the brothers over here in Latin America.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The guys from the MJ class, they didn't believe that. And we all the time were saying, nobody knows about them. Nobody cares.
Nobody knows
they
them.
Were like,
we don't care about Michael, so we don't need to talk about them because nobody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not as impressive. It's hard to be impressive when you have such a talent like Michael.
That's the problem.
Even when you're talented, it's hard for people to see it because he's so he's so above and beyond. And I think that in Margaret's book, she talks about that jealousy that just, in some ways feels kind of natural, that you would be a bit jealous, but it gets extreme in some instances. But I kind of feel for them in that way, just because, like I think about Jackie's a great writer and producer. Jermaine is a good artist. If he would just kind of focus on his thing and not competing with Michael, I think he would have gone further. I think Jackie's a good artist. Tito's albums are really good.
Tito's great.
They are.
Yeah, Tito's really good.
And who else?
You don't even know. You don't even know all the names.
Marlon
dances is really good. I like
Marlon is a great dancer. He's a phenomenal dancer. And it's been said by many people, right? Like, he's the guy.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunate they tried. It's just hard. We watched for our episode the A Brother Not Named Michael. That's the whole thing, was A Brother Not Named Michael. Like, and it's celebrating their solo efforts. All of them, when they would come out with a solo album, the first thing the interviewer would ask about is Michael. And it's like, they're here to talk about their art and what they're doing, and it's just hard to get out of that shadow. And So that's why I'm always glad to see them touring. Like they're in Europe now and they're doing shows over there, and I've seen the crowds. They're really good crowds, and so that's good that they're still getting some love. But like you said, like in so many parts of the world, people are like, "Who are you guys?"
Yeah.
They're really just kind of looking for Michael. Yeah,
and Michael ain't coming.
Not today.
And if he does show up, I'm out of here, guys. Or maybe the conspiracy theorists are right. They say that Michael's still alive and he jumped out of the back of the ambulance.
Yeah, one of those asked to come on our show, and we were like, "No,
yeah, no, you're not gonna dispute. No, you're not gonna lie to these people on our platform. No,
we get those too. All right, should we start closing? I have a game I have to watch.
Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah, isn't the World Cup's on?
The World Cup's on, and the U.S. against Vietnam. I'm gonna watch that thing.
Yeah, is this the girls?
Ladies? My wife is Vietnamese, so I'm supporting Vietnam. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm supporting Vietnam.
I have a question.
Sure.
Because we were talking about this, last episode when we were talking about Lisa. We were talking about the significance of that marriage for Black people, because at the time in the forums it was like, okay, Michael married Elvis's daughter, and there's some issues with Elvis and his music, and it was kind of symbolic, or like, okay, we have our revenge, something like that. At the forums at the time in Lipstick Alley, it was the talk, and it was so interesting for me. That was one of the reasons that when your podcast came out, we were like, finally, we have Black people talking about Michael Jackson, because it's not something that we can experience in our, So what do you think about this symbolic thing about that marriage?
Well, I guess you want to start? You want to
go ahead?
I was gonna say, well, for Black people, like him marrying Lisa was, like you said, like almost like a revenge, like because in America, for a Black man to marry a white woman, first of all, that's not been legal. Interracial marriage has not been legal since Loving versus Virginia, which was a case in the 50s or 60s. So we're not talking about a long time where it was even legal to have that relationship on paper, right? And even then, and certainly before then, you were going to be ostracized in a lot of communities for that relationship, and your children were going to be ostracized, and all these different things. And a lot of times white women would accuse Black men of rape when it was consensual, right? Just because they had been found out. So there's this history of interracial relationships that attaches to some of that, ha ha ha, we got you back, right? Because Elvis is this like standard in white America for like rock and roll, and we know he stole a lot of his stuff from the Black community, and we know that he didn't always give credit. Sometimes he did. He famously paid for Jackie Wilson's funeral, and a lot of Black artists kind of gave him praise or credit in some spaces, but then a lot of people are like, okay, well, but no, because Hound Dog ain't his, and he ain't never give credit for that, and many other things are not his, and he didn't give credit for that. So I think it was kind of like an aha, I know y'all hate this, and we're just gonna rub that in, right? Like, and I think that's kind of what some of that commentary is. And then on the other side, you have, why did he have to marry a white girl, right? And you have that commentary, and why aren't Black women good enough for Michael Jackson? The biggest, why isn't Stephanie Mills good enough? Why isn't Diana? No. Why isn't
not
someone else? Why? Not today. Okay, not today. Why isn't someone else? And it's something that's not, and I always say people like, oh, well, people get into this black-white thing, but it's not uncommon in many cultures, right? Jewish culture experiences the same thing. I'm sure in your culture, you have these same conversations, right? Well, why do you feel you need to step outside? We have plenty of eligible and wonderful, beautiful women and men in this space. But in America, this black-white dichotomy is so huge that Michael Jackson marrying her was going to be just explosive. And I think whether or not Priscilla wants to admit it, it's a part of her disapproval of him. It's not just, oh, he's this or that. Like, if we're being honest, him being a Black man was not probably her first choice for her daughter after she's divorcing or getting out of this marriage with this other guy. So it's kind of like, and those conversations persist, which I think is kind of interesting, like that people are still so into that marriage that ended in divorce. Like, they both said, okay, we're good, we're done. And still people have this really strong connection to discussing what happened, what didn't happen, you know, whether they truly loved each other, whether it was all, fake. I just think that's really interesting. But yeah, Black America definitely has this aha moment, right, with him, because if we think about like a Jack, and LaToya, let me know if I'm wrong. I'm thinking about, is it Jack Johnson? Who is it that Trump pardoned? Because he was put through the criminal system for marrying and being with a white woman. He was a famous boxer. And Trump posthumously pardoned him from his crimes because the crimes were based in simply him loving a white woman. And Barack Obama wouldn't do it. And so it's kind of like Trump's aha moment, like, I'm going to do it. You know, Barack Obama wouldn't do it. So it's based in history, right? And it's, if you don't know the history, it feels silly. But once you kind of ingest parts of the history, you go, okay, this is the why. And this is the why people are aha. And this is why some people are really disappointed, you know, kind of in it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to add too much to that. I think Elvis famously said the only thing a Black person could do for him was shine his shoes, you know, or
he
clean
said
his shoes, clean his shoes, something like that.
Is that what he said?
Like that.
Are you lying?
I just said he said it. I didn't.
When he said it?
I can't tell you the day, the year, the time. I don't know, but that's what allegedly Elvis said.
It's not really about Elvis as a person, but
right,
what he means.
Right. So
as an icon.
Right. And so I think that, like my sister said, I think that a lot of it is just like, oh, Elvis would be flipping over in his casket if he knew this was happening. It was almost like that kind of gotcha. I never, you know, other than seeing Lisa Marie's backside in You Are Not Alone, I didn't have anything against Lisa Marie. I was too young really to care who Michael Jackson married, because that was way out of my element. I just thought that their relationship seemed odd. It seemed odd to me, and it seemed forced to me. But, you know, people are going to find something negative to talk about if they can.
Right.
That's just human nature, unfortunately. We're not all Jason, the positive one. Some people are some people just want to find something negative to talk about. But look, like I said earlier, I really think that Michael truly loved her as much as he could love anybody, but I don't think Michael Jackson would have been a good husband to anybody.
Nope.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true, yeah.
So I think if there was a Mount Rushmore.
He was good to Debbie. He was good to
Oh
Debbie.
my God. Just okay, we're gonna wrap this up. Go ahead. But I think if there's a Mount Rushmore, Lisa would have been the only one on it. But also, she was not in a good place. He was not in a good place. They were like two lost souls clinging on to each other, and that never ends well.
Right.
And it wasn't going to end well, and we all knew that, which is why they didn't last.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
All right. So what were you guys doing when you found out that Michael passed? What were you doing that day?
I was actually driving. I had just moved from one city to another, and I was in the other city, the city that I was moving from, getting the last of my things. And I was in the car, and I heard on the radio that Michael Jackson was in a coma, I think they said originally. That he had a heart attack and he was in a coma. That was the original reports. And my sister called me, and she was like, what's going on with Michael Jackson? So I'm trying to calm her down. I was like, oh, he's in a coma. He's fine. They're going to figure it out. He's fine. And then maybe a few minutes later is when they said that he had passed away. So I was actually driving in a car when I heard that Michael Jackson passed away. And it was so surreal. And it just didn't feel like I was on planet Earth. It felt like, you know, like what? you know? And then the memorial service was a whole other. Cried all through that like a baby. I cried all through that, but yeah, it was a tough day for fans for sure. Tough day for fans.
Yeah, I was in my apartment. I was watching this movie with Martin Lawrence. I can't remember the name of it. It was with Martin Lawrence and Raven Simone, and she was like going to college.
Oh, like college is college road trip or something like that. I've seen that movie a million times. Go ahead.
And like immediately I got this like overwhelming feeling of sadness. It just like overcame me, like head to toe sadness and like despair. Like, and I didn't know why. And I was like, why do I feel like this? Like, I just felt like just like engulfed in despair. And I was watching this movie and I'm like, this is like a funny movie. I don't know why I feel like this. I didn't know what was wrong. And then my mom called me soon thereafter. I started having this feeling, and she said, they just rushed Michael Jackson to the hospital. And I was like, wow. What? And she's like, he's gonna be okay. He's like, that's my mom, right? So she's like, she knows how big of a fan I am. She's like, he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be fine. And he wasn't. And I mean, I was just broken. Such a big fan, and I was just broken. Just in a way, you know, when I had never felt before, you know, and I remember my phone was going off and all these people were calling me and texting me. And I went to the mall because I didn't know what else to do. And I went to the mall and I went to the record store in the mall, and people were just eating the Michael albums, like buying them all over the place. And I heard all these, like, people just buying them up, you know. And I heard people like in their car blasting like "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough" and all this different stuff. And I mean, it was just for me, just thinking back on it, it was such a hard day. This is a hard period to even wear like the memorial. I went home. I drove home to watch it because I didn't know what to do, right? Like the night he died, we went to the club. That didn't help. You know, I just kind of like numbed it for a little while. So I went to my mom's house to watch the memorial. I remember my nephew, he was little at the time. He was like one or two. But he saw how sad I was. And he had this little toy he really loved. And I was getting ready to watch the memorial. It was coming on. He came and sat next to me. He just offered me, he didn't say anything. He just offered me the little toy he had that he loved so much. And I told him, it's okay. No, I don't, you keep your toy. But he saw how sad I was. And I mean, it was really tough just as a fan, as you guys know, like that day you're trying to, and like Jason, you were in your closet, right? So it's like, who do you reach out to? Who do you find, who do you find support with? Because this is really tough. And like, you knew something wasn't right about it all, right? Like he was about to go on tour. What's going on? And so like, it was really like, for me, it was really, really tough. And it's something I won't forget.
Mm-hmm. It was a difficult time for sure. I was planning on going to the concert because they said he was gonna tour the world after that. I didn't have enough money to go to London, but he said if he's gonna come to Houston, he has to come to Houston. This is a stop place. Like everybody comes to Houston, so I'm like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get in debt. Doesn't matter what it is I have to do. I'm gonna buy those tickets. And then that happened, and I was numb for a little bit because I didn't believe it. At the beginning, of course, like many people, I just thought it was another ruse of him. And then later on, I was just numb about it. Like people text me and tell me stuff, and I was like, yeah, well, it happened. What do you want me to do? He's not my friend. Like I'm still denying the guy. Like, I don't know. I don't care. It's all right. And then one day I'm watching in the freaking news, whatever, and they play... I think it was Human Nature, one of those. And I was like, that's Michael. He's gone.
That's Michael. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And he's gone. It was just freaking sad. Yeah. He just hit me. Like I was denying him so much, and then I was like, oh shit. He's gone. Like he is gone. This guy is gone from this world.
Yeah.
These people have no clue. It was what it was. Still sad.
But look at the legacy and the music he left behind and the happiness that he provided to so many people just through his music, people that didn't know him at all. None of us knew him. And look, we're talking about him. And every time a Michael Jackson song comes on, you got to stop and listen to it, right? Like, sing all the words as loud as you can. And, I can just imagine that first show in London, how amazing it would have been.
Yeah.
And it brings me comfort to know that Michael knew how much he was loved before he passed, because he was not expecting for people to go out of their way to go to London. I mean, dude, you picked London to have your concerts in, on an island in the UK. That's where you decided to go. But they sold out so fast and he was so happy about it. So, I think about things like that. And Jason, I'm the positive one too over on this side. So I think about stuff like that and I'm like, how awesome was it that he at least knew that we loved him? And he didn't leave this world thinking that people hated him or thought he was an awful human. We saw his humanitarianism. We saw his love for people, his love for children, and his love for his family. So he leaves behind a beautiful legacy, and I'm so happy that I got to live on this earth in a time when Michael Jackson was here.
That is correct. Correct.
And that's why it's so important, the thing that we can do now with the podcast and the forums and all that stuff that fans can do from the heart, right? Yeah. So it's a way to give back to him everything that he left us, all the music, all the magic, all the memories.
That's right. That's right. Music, magic, memories. I love that. Absolutely. And we do this out of LOVE, like Michael would say. We don't get paid for this. This is out of love. Exactly. This is out of love for Michael that we do this. For love. Yeah, and love for the fans. Love for fans just like us. And so many people have said that young kids, 14, 15, 16, oh my God, I listened to your podcast and I didn't know this and I didn't know they weren't even alive. Michael was not on this earth when they were at any point that they were alive, and they listen to us and they are able to feel what we feel about Michael through our podcast. So that's what makes it so special, what we do. And I thank you guys so much for having us on. And this has been a really awesome discussion. We're going to have you guys on our show next time. We're going to do another takeover. And you guys come take over the Black Jackson estate.
Easy.
We will love that.
And we got to get you on a 12 days. We got to figure out how to get you on a 12 days of Christmas.
That's right.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. So thank you so much. We've enjoyed it. And Ashley really wanted to come. I was talking to her today. She was like, oh my God, I can't. She's still in political land because Joe Biden's going to lose. It's fine.
We'll see.
So she's working really hard to fight against that, but I don't think he's gonna make it. But she really wanted to be here, so she said, well, listen, if they agree to come on the 12 days, I will definitely be there. So we'll be in touch soon with some topics, because we got a list. We already got a list, so we'll shoot you guys some ideas. Whichever one you like. Okay, we really want to talk about this thing. We got you, and you're coming on.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, ladies, and everybody who listened to this and watched this video. Thank you for staying till the end. This has been an amazing episode with these amazing guests talking about the stuff we wanted to talk about for a long time. Finally, with somebody that understands us and that we understand, and it's amazing. Ladies?
Yeah.
An absolute pleasure to have you here, guys. Hope it's not the last time. It's just the first one. Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right.
One of many. Okay. All right. I'll do the outro later. So you see, I lost my composure again. Freaking Michael.
You're just a softie, Jason.
Just like that.
It is.
You don't want to admit it.
Third episode that happened. It had to be today. Jesus.
Thank you again.
Thank you, guys.
So, I'll sing Todo Mi Amor Eres Tu,
Oh my God.
And I'll learn more of the lyrics because I don't know
no words.
And
it's been a pleasure.
But thank you so much.
Gracias por todo.
Gracias a ustedes.
Muchas gracias.
And say hi to the one missing.
To Ash.
Yeah.
Ash Cash.
Okay, say hi to.
Yes,
absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Have a great night. Keep in touch. Keep in touch.
Keep in touch. Yeah.
Yes, we will.
We're
we
online all the
definitely
time. Bueno, esperamos les haya gustado la plática que tuvimos con las chicas. Ahí se armó un relajo, terminamos hablando de todo. Terminamos entrevistados nosotros, imagínense. Así es que estuvo medio raro. Pero así nos gusta a nosotros esa interacción, nos gusta ese tipo de cosas. Espero ustedes también lo hayan disfrutado. Y bueno, pues muchas gracias por quedarse hasta el final. Saludos a los Patreons una vez más. Saludos a todos los nuevos que nos siguen, a los nuevos que se suscriben aquí al YouTube. Gracias por suscribirse, ya estamos creciendo. Ya vamos a llegar a los 1000 creo prontamente. Háganle ahí a la campanita. Dejen sus comentarios aquí abajo de todo lo que opinaron de esta bonita plática, de esta conversación. Si les gustan ese tipo de episodios. Y bueno, pues estén pendientes para el próximo que ya se acerca, viene, lo vamos a grabar pronto. Esperemos les guste ese tipo de contenido, déjanos saber. Nos pueden mandar un correo a conectate@mjradio y vayan a nuestra página web para que vean todos los episodios y también los que mencionamos durante la plática. Ahí está la barra de búsqueda, mjradio.net. Síganos en las redes sociales, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Y pues de parte de las chicas, Ale y Sandra, gracias por sintonizar. Esto fue una producción de MJ Radio, MJ Radio. Hasta la próxima, bye.